Yes, I think I did feel that. I think that we have a quite incredible cast, and we added more incredible actors as well at the end of the first season, and it was a great opportunity for me to push things along. Once you've established characters, it's easier to take them into new places. You don't have to explain so much about them. They're finding out about themselves as well. The actors inhabiting the characters. So I think in the second season, all the major characters had really, really interesting arcs, and hopefully often unexpected. And so it was a great thrill for me to be able to take these wonderful characters and wonderful actors into new places and more extreme places. So that's absolutely right. Well, I mean, my process is that I begin by reading as much as I can, and we have a historical consultant as well who's feeding me information, and out of that mass of material emerges really, hopefully in an unforced way, storylines and characters. And in some ways, and with some characters, those are storylines that I know ideally will go over various seasons, and that's the great thing about working in TV series drama as opposed to movies, where in movies character is just revealed. In TV series drama, character is explored and developed, and I'm finding out all the time about the characters, and but everything is rooted, or at least begins life in historical fact, or what passes for historical fact. And as far as I'm aware, I never take them too far away from what I believe is authentic or realistic.
No, to be honest, not at all. Only because, you know, religion is something that is a very serious issue to a lot of people, and you know, you can't kind of just suddenly take up a devoutly religious character like Athelstan and pretend that you've had the 25 years of experience of living on a deserted island with 25 other men in brown robes. You know, you do the best that you can with the information that Michael gives you and research that you do. But it's been an amazing kind of aspect of society to delve into. You know, the religious aspects of the show are something that I think makes it really interesting to watch, and I think a lot of kind of you know, it's what makes it relatable to modern society as well. The different culture clashes that we see in the show, and the way that Athelstan kind of navigates both of those. And yeah, I'm very spoiled.
Who wants to answer that? I think in something, a show called Vikings, nobody's safe. Right. Nobody knows when they're gonna. We have a running joke on set is when you get Keith, is one of the producers on set, that comes and taps you on the shoulder and goes like this. You kind of are crossing your fingers.
I think Michael told me when we were neighbors in Docky. So it was finally when he's walking down the street, when, you know, it's like, hey, it's been a good run. This is what's going down. And it was clearly like, well, we knew it was good. It had to happen, but it's still, yeah, although I have to say, it's getting killed on a show like Vikings it's an honorable warrior's way to go out as an actor, you know. It's better than being transferred to the Cleveland office and just never being seen again.
Gustav, when I Googled Floki, I couldn't find any background on him. Did he actually exist in history, or is he an amalgamation?
He's amalgamated enough. No,
There was a Floki there. There was a
Floki
Yeah.
that discovered Iceland.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're getting there, aren't we? I mean, we've
Yeah, right. But
only reached England, but we'll get there.
right. But that's all I know about. And I asked Michael once, is that Floki? And he was like, oh, yeah, which was that I don't know answer he gave you.
So do you just live in the moment when you're playing him, or are you able to have any sort of foresight into where he's going to go so you can prepare in your mind?
I always try to ask Michael if there's anything he think I should know. Anything that would affect my acting in the scenes I'm working on. As an example, last season where it looks like I betray Ragnar, and Michael gave me some clues that was going to go down, and I was like, but he's not really, right? And Michael was like, no, he's not really. I was like, okay, good, because that I need to know.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd be clueless as well, and I'd rather have it this way, that if there are things that I need to know, I want to know them. I want to know everything, really.
I think we all want to know everything.
Yeah, but that's also what's interesting in doing a TV series like this, is that it's kind of life imitating in that you don't know what's going to happen, and that actually brings some nerve to it and some life to it, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you could get killed off, or you could.
I love how they're all looking at you just to see if you're shaking your head or saying no, like gleaning more.
But then to answer that question about
away.
the worry about getting killed off, it's like my worry to get killed off in an unnecessary way is bigger than to get killed off big or beautifully, or like the way that Donald went down last year. That was epic. That's a great ending to a character. That's a great finale to character arc.
Well, I think, because it's called Vikings, you'd assume that it was a male-skewed show. Actually, we've got a very big female audience because we've got wonderful female characters playing very important and central roles. So in a sense, I wouldn't say it's a male-skewed show, but I think what I've discovered with working with several female directors is that basically they just do better battles and better sex. Most of the leading characters in the recent and good TV shows, none of them are really good. Really good people on screen are rather boring. You would like to be married to a really good person, but you don't necessarily want to watch stories about really good people. So people who are ambivalent, people who have dark sides to them, people who are edgy, people who are in situations in which they often have the power of life over death, or death over people. They're the people you want to watch and engage with. At another level, I think it's true that one of the reasons that there haven't been more shows about Vikings or movies about Vikings, that people thought it was difficult to have Vikings as your lead characters or heroes because of their reputation. Of course, they were written about mainly by Christian monks, whose job it was really to diss them as much as possible and their faith. Almost a scarcity of material in terms of the biographies of the people. I mean, we know some things, for example, about Ragnar, but there's a hell of a lot we don't know. And Ragnar's the first great Viking leader who emerges, but he emerges from myth as well as and legend as well as history. So he's a sort of amalgam. I would never. Pete Townsend once told me that he never wasted anything he wrote. If he got a couple of chord sequence or a line, sooner or later he would put that in a song. And in the same way, if I, in my reading or talking to my historical consultant, if I ever come across anything that immediately strikes me as fascinating, interesting, usable, intriguing, even if it's somewhere to left field, I'll always use it in the end.
The Blood Eagle episode, did you have to get approval for that? Do you have to shoot it a certain way? Because I almost got sick watching that. It was great.
Just to answer that, we didn't get approval. We didn't get approval, and it wasn't until history saw the sensitive way we did it. and they said, wow, you've done it in a way that we can show. And it's very powerful, which is what I meant about it's not gratuitous. It's awful. It's horrible what they do to
But you described having Ragnar describe it to Bjorn.
Yes.
Was the best part.
Yeah, then you know what he's doing. Yeah. Yeah.
That was my favorite episode of this season, just because I think that's what the show does so well, is that it portrays these things that happened, but in such a great way that seems sort of non-judgmental, and it's kind of like, well, this is what happened, this is what they believed in. But I think it's done in such a beautiful way, and our director for that episode, Carrie, was amazing. And similarly, it was episode 8 of season 1 that was my favorite, The Sacrifice. It was just, I found it to be so moving, and who knew that you could watch human beings being sacrificed and be moved by something like that, and yet I was. And I think that's what's just, it's so cool to be a part of a show that does that.
There wasn't much discussion about the crucifixion between us in terms of trying to opt out of it. No, it was. We were talking about it yesterday, and the great thing about the show for us as actors is that Michael constantly challenges us and really pushes our characters past what we ever thought we'd be doing at the start of season 1. I said yesterday that scene was the most emotionally and physically challenging scene I've ever done so far on a set, and it was just a gift, to be able to experience something like that and be part of a process like that took 7 hours to shoot. It was magical, really, and I'm sure the Blood Eagle was the same. I wasn't there, but everyone talks about the Blood Eagle as being this incredibly kind of, spiritual and religious vibe that was going on set, and everyone stayed 4 hours after when planned wrap was, because everyone was in this moment. And these kind of situations that Michael puts our characters in is really special to be part of as an actor.
Donald, your background's interesting because you are pretty much based in LA, but you have passports that are, or citizenships that are both Canadian and Irish. And shooting in Ireland, do you feel that being there, is there a much more personal connection to you when you are there shooting and playing your role? Does location have a big deal?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, we were to shoot I've been fortunate over the course of 26 years or whatever to work on things and travel a lot, but it was the most special experience of my life was to be in Ireland shooting. I have, I'm the American really in the group, but I also was the only one with 52 first cousins who live in stone's throw of the studio. I'm like we have a big Logue posse over there in O'Sullivan in Ireland. My mother lives in Killarney, and it was nice. I was able to go on the weekends back to my mom and dad's house, and so it was really like it was the apex of all my experiences. And there was creatively, just to work with someone like Michael and then to work with this cast Vikings was an incredible gift, and Ireland definitely made it uniquely special.